Hello guys and welcome back to the Deep Sea Haven. This is Aaron and yeah, today we're going to be doing a deck profile of Invoked Pranksters. Invoke Prank Kids. Yeah, so we're going to go through some IGO Pro replays and yeah, get into this. So as you can see, I kind of start off with Prank Kids Place. It's just a really good inherent card to use. Really good utility, and I kind of start link climbing from there because I didn't start with the best hand possible, but I did ended up getting Prank Kids Place, so that's awesome. And then you see me rock the Invocation because once again it's another spell you could use to fusion summon without the fusion spell for Prank Kids. And then see I shuffle some cards back. I get back the Link 1 because it's not a bad card to have at all. And then I try to stop more greed. I don't see that there's a secondary one. Right now, they're going through some of their plays. It's an Aqua deck that I've been seeing quite a bit of. I don't know how great it is, but it seems quite interesting as they're able to recover a decent amount. I try to hit it with a Ghost Stoker. It seems like I maybe stopped some of their plays, so that's actually really good. You know, you don't want to allow your opponent to kind of blow up or go crazy with plays. So then I play Invocation again, and I get out the big just Earth Invocation fusion monster. Not bad at all, to be honest. And I'm just hitting. He ends up surrendering because I have a lot of power on field, and I have a board wipe with the Prank Kids fusion. And now I'm facing Cyber Dragons. This one I get a bit of a better hand. Not absolutely perfect because I'm rocking a couple of the same Prank Kids, but I'm still able to do a lot more. At this point, I get rid of some so that way I can start trying to maneuver and stuff like that, see what kind of board I can build with a suboptimal hand. So that seems to be doing really well. I'm able to start link climbing, and I get the Link 4 with a Link 1 on board, so that's not too bad. And then I pass with Prank Kids. That allows me to once again shuffle more cards into my deck. That's really nice. And I have a Ghost Ogre in hand, so I can pop anything that activates their effect. Yeah, I do not negate the effect, but I still get rid of it. It was decent. End up in the fusion monster out. It's really nice once again. Just more Prank Kids combos. Special summon, special summon. I end up getting the invoked Link monster out. Ends up not being the best play I could have made, but to be honest, it wasn't horrendous either because I was able to build a board presence for later on in that match. So ends up being a pretty optional play. Then I go for instant fusion here so I can get rid of the very large attack monster that I really didn't know how I was going to handle. The invoke monster sadly ends up getting destroyed at the end of the turn because it was used with instant fusion. And then at this point I just start once again link climbing, doing other things with the links from the Prank Kid fusion, and trying to get pretty much bigger monsters. At this point, I still have the field presence, but he has a higher attacking monster, so now I have to find a way to kind of get around that. And pretty much just kind of comboing up with a lot of the Prank Kid cards and trying to outwit the opponent and kind of confuse him with all the effects that are going on. And I build up an okay board, nothing too insane, but I think something that's half decent. I Ghost Ogre that for the fact that it felt like it would probably be the best play, and to be honest, from noticing this deck, it doesn't seem like it was going to go into any big style monsters at this point with any strong effects, because at this point I didn't see Cyber Dragon Infinity at all. So, and once again, link climbing, trying to get to those big monsters and kind of duck them a little bit, get a little bit of draws going, a little bit of burn, a little bit of heal. All that's just inherently really nice with the Prank Kid engine. It just allows you to kind of play with the deck in a very optimal way, and that's also once again really nice to do. And now I'm facing against a hero deck. It sadly wasn't the best hero deck, but I was like, okay, this hand's kind of interesting, so I thought I'd throw it in there. Once again, it's not the best hand out there. I end up just grabbing the Alistair I end up playing Magical Meltdown just to get the Alistair Invoker, so that way I can kind of combo off with more plays. And once again, link climbing, trying to spam a bit, being able to burn a tiny bit and get out more monsters, getting my life points a little bit higher because, once again, it's inherent effect, so it's nice to have. I'm able to get the Link 3 out. Not a bad shout. Not enough to OTK, but still enough to kind of put some damage on board. I shuffle some stuff back so that way I can have some recursion just in case those are any type of weird traps, because you never know. I was expecting maybe a Torrential Tribute or something. And this one is versus a Utopia deck. it was quite interesting. I ended up having a couple games with him, so that was pretty interesting. Won most of the games, but definitely not a terrible deck. He ends up building not the greatest field out there, but definitely something that wasn't too bad. I ended up thinking that I knew the Utopia card that he was using, and I thought it was one that could steal my monster. So I ended up doing a misplay a little bit further on during this because of that reason. But it ends up being fine anyways. Because with this point, I end up using Borlo's effect to kind of minus his attack, not realizing that it was a different card than what I thought it was. So I end up kind of messing myself over on 500 free damage, especially because when you get him down to about that 1,000 range, the burn from the prank kids can actually come into a lot of play. Ends up targeting my card, so I ended up just kind of nuking his board a bit. It wasn't too bad at all, and yeah, that's the end. Hello, it is Aaron, and this is the part of the video where I explain the deck and I kind of break it down for you guys so you guys can understand it. Alright, so yeah, as you can tell, with these prank kits, we're running the full prank kid package here. We're running all the prank kids at maximum amounts because you have to. It just makes the synergy really, really, really nice. Plus, you're running 3 of the fusion, 3 place, 3 prank kids pranks. Really, really good for the deck. Just consistency galore, draw power and cycling. It's really nice putting cards back in the deck after they're used and allowing you to draw off them, allowing you to possibly draw hand traps, things like forbidden droplets that sadly in the videos that I have, for some reason I just could never pull. Like I could never get out of deck even though I run it at 3. Things happen. I try to run good numbers of everything. A couple odd numbers here and there because I have the 2 1-ofs and then these, but besides that, everything else is at 3. Try to make it as consistent as possible so that way you don't really see 2 out of hands. At least you open up a hand with at least 2, possibly 3 prank kids. Usually 1 prank kid support card, or you're going to get the Alistair or the Invocation or the Fusion or Magical Meltdown. That's once again really nice to see in opening hands to kind of allow you to do the things you need to, or opening up that terraforming to allow you to grab whatever you feel like is necessary for that play. So yeah, that's really, really, really nice. So then we go from the Invoked. We go to Invoked. That's also, once again, really, really nice. Clean, good package. Super small, super easy to run. It's just 3 Alistair the Invoker, 3 Invocation. I ended up running 3 Meltdown, and then the terraforming that kind of works also with the prank kids field spell. Because to be honest, most of the time you just use Magical Meltdown to grab what you need and then just get rid of it and replace it with the prank kids place, because it's just, my personal opinion, the better field spell out of the 2, especially with this meta of really strong field spells that we've been seeing for quite a few years. It's just absolutely solid. Then once again, droplets. Everybody should know what droplets does. If droplets is too expensive, I do have on the bottom cheaper options for different things. If you want the super fusion option, I'm at the super poly option to be able to kind of alter what your opponent can do and kind of what they can do against you. It's a nice, real good card for that. And permanence, if you want more negations in the deck, you feel like the deck doesn't stop enough, because I mean, I can understand that. Then you also have the lightning storms that could be really good. Spell trap removal and monster removal, twin twisters if you still want the removal but you can't afford the lightning storms, because once again, I can understand Yu-Gi-Oh! Is sometimes an expensive card game, so I'm trying to give really the best deck I can, but also show you that there's other options that you can run. Yes, you'll see different options, like a lot of these cards don't like being discarded, but once again, when you're running prank kids pranks, luckily, if they're in the graveyard, you can recycle them. Even though they don't get their effect of special summon, you still are able to recover them, and that's kind of the biggest point of it, is make sure you have recovery. And then Nibiru, because Nibiru is just great. You can just look at the card and read it, and I'm pretty sure you can understand how impactful it can be. I personally would just keep this card as a side deck card. I don't really like it in the main deck, but I really like it as a side deck option for those decks that just spam like absolute mad lads. Because you do have what deck is it? Sky Strikers that are still doing things that don't really have a lot of board presence. Doesn't really matter if you destroy their monster, so it's not guaranteed to always be good, but in the side deck you kind of can side it in when it's necessary. Maybe get rid of Forbidden Droplets or something like that. Or if you decide that you don't want Meltdowns, you could always put Super Poly in, for the fact of you just are like, well, the Meltdown's there just to get Alistair to get Invocation. Well, Super Poly does that, but it also kind of stops your opponent and takes out their place also. So, but then we move down to the extra deck lineup. Elysium's really, really nice. Once again, not a bad Super Poly thing. I personally keep it in the sideboard because I'm able to get Elysium out. Sadly, I wasn't able to get any plays with the Elysium out that were just good matches. I try to show ones where I do unique things, or I try to grind out of a situation, or I try to show you the versatility of the deck. So sadly, either matches where I try to force Elysium to happen, it just didn't really come out the greatest, or it just wasn't up to what I wanted to be. So sadly, there was no replace of that. And Elysium's just a solid card, to be honest. Pretty good hard-hitting card. Has a little bit of like versatility against your opponent. And then you have Prank Kids Battle Butler. Once again, really just amazing fusion card that can just quick effect and you contribute this card and just nuke your opponent's full board. Really nice for really good disruption, and you get something out of it. So that's once again really nice. And then of course you have Mechaba. Mechaba's a great. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of what kept Invoked always as like a really good deck. And why I also like running Ghost Ogre in the deck, for the fact of it allows the Mechaba plays to be played. Yes, I only run it at 2, but it still allows them to happen. So that's also, once again, really nice. And if you side into fusion targets, because it's light monsters are the third most played monsters, right next to Dark being the best and the most ran. I think Earth after that, Earth Rocks. So that's also not bad, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you could run Mud Dragon in here also if you wanted to. And then just a big beat stick, not bad if you're having an issue of getting over something. It's kind of like one of the hardest hitting cards in here. Then we have this card, really good, solid card all around. Defense is not bad, so you can put in defense, have it be something good presence on the board, and just continue to do what it needs to. I like this card a lot. This card, sadly I didn't get any replays with this either, but it's really nice for a defensive option. Your Dropsies in hand, you already use this effect, you don't, you have a couple of the links out, and you're like, oh no, I'm going to do this in defense, attack over something, because you can Heavy Samurai effect where you can attack with its defense. Really nice. This card's really good because it's the instant fusion target of the deck. You can do a lot with it. There's more instant fusion targets, but this is just really good. Book of Moon effect, plus not a bad body. When we get down to the Prank Kids fusion, just a solid fusion all around. It having its kind of like Ritual Beast Contact Out ability is really nice, but they also can't be destroyed by battle that turn. So you can just put 2 of them in defense position. If you really want to, you could do a Dropsies and a Fonzies, or Lampsies, and then next turn get out battling Butler, because they can't destroy him. So that's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. It sets up plays for that all day, especially if you have another just random Prank Kid in hand. Use the link 1 then. That's right here to kind of get rid of that one to get the proper one you're missing, because most of the time, if you're going into things, you at least have 2 of the 3 that you need, and then after that you can just make that fusion and have that power on board of the constant opponents not knowing what you're doing. I also run Totally Awesome at 1. Sadly, once again, not being able to see plays. This one is very optional. If you feel like you want to run a different card, I completely understand. I just personally like it for the fact of Totally Awesome is a very versatile card. It's very nice, and the effect's just solid on it. Then I run Borreload. I also ran Boral Sword. Ended up trying to see which one ended up running better. It was Borreload Dragon, and then Sword. I just saw myself not really using all that much, so I was like, let me try Totally Awesome. Ended up not getting any replays with it, but did end up coming in useful quite a few different times, because once again, it's the same thing of going with the fusion card, summoning out a Dropsies, having a Fonzies, a Lampsies, or Roxy's in hand, using link 1, because once again, it can cycle, so that link 1 should always be in there. Yes, it does have a little bit of an effect to... It does have a good effect itself, being engraved, but inherently it's just more of a combo piece in your extra deck. So that's just really nice. And then, yeah, that's all you need to do to get out Dropsy. It's not bad. And as you can tell, 2 level 2 Aqua Monsters. Really clean level. I've also seen people run Link Karibo in this deck, because it helps a little bit mitigating damage. I'm going to get to just complete another spell and trap removal. Really nice. It's spell and trap removal on legs. Nice 3k body on it. Quite easy to make, but you do have to go through a tiny bit of hoops. But with the deck, usually you're able to make it every game quite consistently. Then you have the 2 Link 2s, just inherently good. It's kind of how the deck works. If you have any recommendations for any decks I should kind of check out and play, leave them down in the comment section. That'd be absolutely awesome. Definitely looking for more decks to do, and I definitely want to continue to make higher edited videos like this and solid content for you guys. So if you guys do have anything like that, please let me know. And this is Aaron from Deep Sea Everything. Peace, peace. Thank you so much for watching.